in the simple life. We're in the middle of Act 1, the story of 3 people traveling across country with some horses and a tape recorder, prerequisite for getting on our show. I cannot state strongly enough how much of the 30 hours of tape they recorded is simply the 3 of them talking about the horses. Hours of detail about the horses' shoes and the color of their urine and how the horses are doing. And I have to say, for city people sitting in an office in Chicago listening to all this, it was hard to understand what it was all about. But of course, what it was all about was the difficulty of being on the road, which is where our story resumes.
And then we started, meeting the miles and meeting the challenges and, being up at 2 a.m, fixing equipment and getting up before daylight. I mean, some mornings, some nights we'd sleep 4 hours and we didn't go to bed refreshed. We went to bed worn out. We'd get up 4 hours later and start feeding and brushing horses.
So it's pouring rain and we're stopped by a little metal building on the side of the road, and we pulled over, and one of Mac's shoes, I noticed his back left shoe was falling off. What in the hell are we going to do? Oh, geez.
8:30 in the morning on March, what is today, everybody?
15th.
15th? And I feel puny. My stomach is just feeling like a burnt pancake that got stepped on by an elephant and then eaten by a road runner and then shit on top of a green stink bug that's eating its way through it. That's how my stomach feels. I might just vomit in this microphone.
Turning right on a dirt road. And Judson's reaching for a 6-shooter. What's that boy doing? Oh my gosh, we're crossing into Arkansas. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. We made it to Arkansas. Are we really here? Or is it just a dream? I think we're about to touch Texas. There's a big old rock there. It says Texas. Oh my gosh, it's real. We're really doing it. Yes! Albert, settle down, boy. It's just a 357.
Let me ask you to explain what happened as you were going into Arizona.
Oh, my. Very interesting situation. Almost embarrassing. But the fact is, we had just bought a horse, and this one hadn't been handled in a very long time and had a reputation when the few times it had been handled of being more or less wild. And so I'm riding along, and we get to the Arizona line. Every time we get to a line, one of us, usually Judson, my brother, shoots off a gun just as a celebration and reckoning that we made it to another state line. So we go through the gate, and I shut the gate, and we're there. It's like, okay, let's celebrate. And intuitively, I knew not to get up on this horse. But my brother, for some reason, I don't know why, he said, get up on your horse. And for some reason, I followed his instructions and got up on my horse.
Oh, there it is, boys.
It's the state line. We're getting ready for a bing bang. My gosh, we're getting into Arizona. Woo! We are walking in the soil of another state. I'm proud of it. Never been known. That's it. I got bucked off of this damn black horse. He's not used to a gunshot. And I guess I'm trying to stay awake now. Seems like maybe my head is idled. Maybe I have a concussion or something.
And, I crack my head, blood everywhere. The power of it goes from my head to my shoulder, twisting my neck, hitting my back, tearing my back open, ripping my shirt. And I'm just sitting there slumped, hurting. And it was not what I wanted to happen.
How much of a break did you take before you started riding again? Did you take a day?
I didn't take a minute off. I climbed back up. Blood was still running down. The blood knitted my hair back together. You know, that's what held my scalp together. I just let the dried blood hold it back together.
Did you think about seeing a doctor?
Well, there weren't any doctors anywhere nearby. Oh my! Yeah, I you know, my brother and Susan are kind of like normal people, you know, but my lifestyle has been forever very extraordinarily different than common normal America. Just about a month ago, I rode a horse into a tree. I was chasing another horse, and it got dark, and I did not want to give up on catching this horse. It was the first time I'd ever let this horse go. So I ran right into a tree and knocked my head back.
Oh.
When I came forward, all of a sudden I heard all this splashing, and blood was flying all around my saddle, splashing down, and I wondered, my gosh, what have I done? I stuck my tongue through my lip, and it was right through the front of my face. I was like, ooh, that does not feel right. So I went to a mirror and said, I don't have electricity, so I lit some candles and looked in the mirror, and I had 3 huge holes in my face. They're like gaping open, profusely bleeding. So, like, I could have gone to a doctor. You know, I live way out in the country, but I just got out a needle and thread and sewed my face back together. It's about 14 stitches. Pulled it back together, and I was good to go. Had to heal up, and, you know, the swelling had to go down and all that, but it's healed up real good. But see, that's like the story of my life. Me, what I'm trying to teach people and what I believe in is that you can do things yourself. You can take care of yourself. You can be responsible and should be responsible for yourself. I was born in normal suburbia. In fact, I guess that's one of the important things about me being able to do some of these things of living like people did a long time ago is I went from normal suburbia. I know the American people. I can speak your language. But I live in a very different way that's come through decades of experience and voluntarily living by a whole other set of values and reality.
Even when you embark on an adventure in the simple life, it doesn't get all that simple. Life resists simplicity. On this horse trip across America, the logistics of getting from place to place were as complicated as you might imagine, with that truck to move around, and 20th century traffic always threatening to run them over, and them having to provision horses, and new horses, and find a place to stay every night. It took money and telephones and all the skill with people that anybody would be able to muster. And then there's the mundane fact that, like any people on a long trip together, Eustace and Judson and Susan got on each other's nerves sometimes. When it happened, one of them would ride ahead a ways for a while, get a break from the others. And when they finally made it to California, to the shores of the Pacific Ocean, what's striking is how bittersweet it was.
That was a pretty intense day. We started riding, and that part of California is very hilly. And you'd ride up a hill, and you'd think, we're going to look out and see the ocean. And we didn't. We rode and rode and rode before we saw the ocean. And you're just hoping and waiting for this end, you know. It's kind of climactic, waiting for it to come up, and it never would. You'd just see more houses and more streets. And it was like, ugh.
Almost at the beach. I can smell it and feel it and see it in the traffic and the worry in the people's faces, and it's exciting because we're almost there. And we are cowboys. Hey, cowboys! That's what they call us here.
And finally we saw it. And it was like, wow. I mean, it was a weird feeling. It was like, now what do we do?
I thought there was going to be a lot more crazy energy. It was more self-reflective energy. It was more just sitting on your horse and staring at the ocean and going, wow. It was more just, we did it. And in the hot days of Arizona, somehow I was just going, man, if I get to that ocean, I'm going to get off and just go run and dive in the water and swim out